Good evening. Welcome to the Board of Selectmen meeting of Thursday, October 8th, 2015. We have somewhat of a short agenda this evening, so we'll start. And the first agenda item is the Springdale Study Committee update. And we have with us the chair of that committee, Catherine White. Welcome.
Thank you.
And so we'll start the meeting off. Please, you have the floor.
Great. Thank you very much. I'm going to give you a brief update, starting with the final results of the survey. We had tentative preliminary results last time, and just spend a couple minutes on that, and then go into some of the activities and a status report. And I have full survey results for the board as well.
Could you pass those out beforehand so we can, do you mind? I don't mean to interrupt.
This will not, there's a lot of information here, and I'm just going to touch on some of the highlights and possible.
Great, thank you.
Sure. So we got 510 responses, or 25% of the town. And I think that speaks very, very highly of the town and the interest in this particular issue as well. Certainly those of us involved with the committee were thrilled. People are focusing their attention and time on this, particularly over the summer. So, and just a couple of observations. Over 50% of the respondents were at or within 4 years of senior status. So it did definitely skew towards a somewhat older, myself included, set of respondents. 42% of respondents have lived in Dover for 21 years or longer, and 68% have lived in Dover for 11 years or longer. And to reiterate what I said last time, it's people that really know the town and what has happened to date. In terms of broad uses, I'm just going to touch on some of the highlights. 58% of the respondents said extremely interested in open space and passive recreation. So the comments included walking trails or trails where they could take their horse. And 34% said active recreation. For senior housing, 7% of the respondents said that they were interested, and that's part of the reason I went back and looked at the average age. So certainly, it represented quite a number of seniors. 15% of the people said they were interested in affordable housing. We discussed this. Some people, we did mention 40B and that there was a Massachusetts statute, or we referred to it in the survey. Some people interpreted it as being under the 40B statute. Some people interpreted it as less expensive housing being available, whether it's for downsizing seniors or the younger set. And 15% were in favor of that. Or I was extremely interested, I should say, in that. And so then we came to the final question, question 9 on your survey there. About a quarter of the people, 46%, said retain the entire space for permanent open space or recreation. And another 26% said that they were interested in selling the house with limited acres and a deed restriction. So when we looked at that as a committee, we said, well, these are even. And so we looked at the people in the next category over, very interested, to include that with extremely interested, to see if the numbers change and gave us any direction when we think about our proposal. And so including the extremely interested and the very interested, 40% were interested in retaining the entire space for open space or recreation, and 50% were interested in selling the existing buildings, a couple of acres, with the deed restriction so it couldn't become something other than a single family home. And so that gave us more clarity, we felt, in terms of what the survey was indicating.
Very good, thank you.
So those are my comments on the survey. I don't know if you have any questions.
Just a couple of observations. The demographics, quite honestly, while not in the same volume, are really in line with who appears at the town meetings.
Mhm.
You know, people live in town, maybe an older generation. So that was interesting to see. I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, the study committee is going to come in November 8th
Yes.
with their recommendation to the Board of Selectmen. That'll be great, because at that point, there's enough time left in the town meeting cycle so other people can vet the recommendation also. But the survey results, which I'm so glad you shared with us tonight, speaks volumes to me, so thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Robin or Candace, do you have any comments?
No, but thank you. Thank you very much,
So
Catherine.
I actually attended the meeting on Tuesday night and got a little bit of additional flavor for you know, the results, and there was some very interesting conversation about the results, and definitely gave me insight into how this committee has truly taken its charge seriously and has really vetted a lot of different options for the land, which was the charge. So I really appreciate you and the committee doing that. You know, the other thing that was eye-opening to me is everybody on the committee was willing to speak their mind, which gives you a lot of, you know, it basically opens your mind up as well. So as chair, Catherine, I really give you credit for allowing that to happen.
Mhm.
So thank you to you and your committee.
Well,
You
thank
know,
you.
I was really impressed.
We have such a talented group on the committee, real estate experts, affordable housing experts,
Planners.
marketing experts,
Mm.
pardon me?
Planners,
Mm.
town planners.
Mm.
Planners, and people that represent something of the spectrum of the town, in terms of more recent Gilbrites, as well as some people that may have been here a little bit longer. I'm casting my eye to my colleague, Mr. Schmidt, over here. And so I also want to tell you a little bit about the activities in the status report. One of the things, as you know, is a follow-up from the Mass Audubon presentation, and we had asked them if they would do a study, and they said that it's really beyond what they can do right now, but they wrote a letter, they wrote an email, I'm sorry, and they said that they would be able to put this on their letterhead with concerns about development. Of course, any development at all, anywhere, does affect wildlife, but certainly some of the ideas that have been discussed at the committee would have a much more significant impact. And so getting that letter in process is in process, and we'll make sure that you get that when that comes through. The other thing, Mass Audubon said, why don't you find out what kind of wildlife has been there? And so I guess those of us that live in town have a pretty good guess at some of the wildlife. But I really wanted to focus on, you know, is there anything that's more rare that we should be knowing about? And I only focused on wildlife that's been observed in the last 5 years, because we know, you know, the days going by, we're not getting probably the diversity that we once might have had, and you know, I don't need to spend a whole lot of time talking about the Canada geese or other things. But it was interesting for me. There have actually been 2 threatened species, so when you think about the hierarchy of protection, there's endangered, so that would be the rarest. Nothing has been observed. The next level is threatened species, and there's been both the northern harrier, northern parula observed there recently. And then the third level is special concern. So these are species that are in significant decline in Massachusetts, and there were 3, including the blackpoll warbler, the mourning warbler, and the sharp-shinned hawk. So I thought that was interesting, particularly since the field, the meadow, has not been maintained with birds in mind. In order to really, if you wanted to, if you said, hey, let's really encourage grassland birds, you wouldn't mow it until later in July or beyond.
Right.
And it hasn't been maintained that way. So it'd be interesting to see what might happen if it were preserved in that manner. And if some of it does end up being preserved as open space, that would certainly be my personal hope. And also 5 species of duck. They're nothing terribly rare, but that's a lot of different species for right over here, you know, half a mile or so from where we're sitting. Another activity was I had a meeting with Dave Ramsey and Greer and Carl from the building management, and we learned that they're bringing in an expert to evaluate the house and the possibility of lead paint, the confirmed existence of asbestos, and whether the railings and other items are safe. And so I think that that is still in process. For the time being, it's being visited every day by Carl. The heat is on, the alarm is on, the pool has been winterized, and the property has been cleaned up from some of the items that have been left there. So we were happy to see that. I will mention that there have been several people contacting us saying, can't we open it up to the public? And so I will put that forth to the Board of Selectmen, and whether it would be okay if people walked the property, and understanding that there's a balance between the liability, but it would be nice to be able to enjoy it. And then lastly, some of our committee members were interested in exploring the idea of having affordable housing, and I mean that in the 40B sense. And one of our real estate people sketched out a possibility. We had a presentation, and 3 of those of us on the committee went to affordable housing seminar last Friday. And I was interested in learning more about it and thought that it was appropriate in order to make a good judgment about that. This would certainly, in terms of my personal feeling, and we'll have more at the October 8th meeting about this, but based on Mass Audubon's comments, it seems like the ecological sensitivity would be a big concern, and lack of demand evidenced by prior projects we've had in town where we haven't been able to keep the number of units. And then finally, and not least, the survey results. I want to let you know that that is, you know, a major thought, and whether it's something that, you know, I don't see it as pertaining specifically to this property. I think it's something that Dover, like many similar communities in the Commonwealth, are facing, and actually did lead us to this point in acquiring 46 Springdale. So it's something that, you know, I think it's useful to get the information, but we haven't made any conclusions on that score right now.
I have one question, Catherine.
Sure.
When you see, for example, on question 8 that we were talking about affordable housing, and you see that as many people essentially responded positive, or certainly the percentage was very high, people talking about other options, and then they wrote in, I presume.
Yeah.
Did someone read those and tally those? And
yeah, we read an awful lot of those, and I can certainly send them. Jim has seen those.
Yes, I have. Thank you.
And there's some predictable comments.
We're sensitive to the comments because whether it's disparaging to different individuals, things like that. So
I see. Okay.
The study committee did an excellent job of editing.
Right. Excellent.
With the results of public knowledge.
Right. It was how we thought we would boil it down.
Perfect.
In terms of tonight. I'm
Helpful.
certainly happy to
Yeah.
share those
Thank you.
with the selectmen.
Good.
So I don't know if there are other questions.
No, I just want to expound on your comment that Mr. Ramsey and Mr. Warnock are looking at the asbestos issues, or if there is asbestos issues. If in fact the town is going to keep the house and rent it out, we would have to discover those issues. So Mr. Ramsey took the initiative to find out if there is a problem, and if the town decided to do something, we'd know what the answer to those particular questions are. So it wasn't anything particular to an immediate need. It was a knowledge-based discovery. Thank you, Dave, for that.
And being uninhabited is not a big concern. The other thing I observed was that the driveway, whether it's to remain a driveway or become a road, if we wanted to have second property, as some of the town residents seem to favor, that it would need to be redone either way. It's showing its years.
Yep, excellent point. Good, thank you. I don't have any further comments.
Thank you.
Yes. Well, Catherine, I just want to add to Robin's comments, the study committee has done a tremendous job, really fabulous job, very thorough. I knew it from the, probably the first or second meeting where you had, all of a sudden had to split into subcommittees to investigate so many issues. And that's telling right there. But thank you very much.
Well, I think that regardless of what the final proposal is, we have a lot of information that will be useful to the town. This is a small sampling. You can see this is what I thought we might need to look at tonight. But the people have worked so hard, and it's been great for me getting to know, fellow Doverites, and these people are really experts in their field.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you very much.
Thank
again.
you.
See you in a month.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, as we go on to our next agenda item, which is the warrant article closeouts. Who's going to speak to this? Dave? Thank you, Mr. Ramsey.
Mr. Chairman, it's that time of year. The town accountant is closing out fiscal 15. And as part of the housekeeping for that, she distributes all of the outstanding article balances as of June 30th and asks boards who are responsible for those balances what, if any, of them can be closed out. So you have the list in front of you, and the ones for Selectmen. The two that I'm recommending to be closed out are ATM 13, Article 11, which is the balance in the rail trail feasibility study article of $4,311.71, and ATM 15, Article 5, 7A, the Carroll Community Center air conditioning. That project is complete, and the balance of $4,000 can be returned to the general fund.
Well, the first one, let me go backwards here. The air conditioning in the Carroll Community Center, great job, came underneath, it's done. COA is happy. That's fantastic. So, do we have to vote on these separately?
You can do it together.
Okay, great, thanks. And then let's talk about the rail trail feasibility study. The excess funds from that town meeting 13, Article 11. The town spoke loud and clear in town meeting 14, was it? That the town, people didn't want the town to spend any more money on that. So I think it's very appropriate to return the $4,311.71 back to the town. That being said, any other discussions or questions for Mr. Ramsey?
No.
I'll make the motion that we return ATM 13, Article 11, in the amount of $4,311.71, and in addition to ATM 15, Article 5-7A, or Article 7A also, is it? So it would be capital item, okay, yeah, 7A, thank you, which is Carroll Community Center air conditioning, which has been completed and closed out, had an excess of $4,000 in it, so that'll be returned. So,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Great, thank you. Okay, the next agenda item is to approve the fiscal 2017 Selectmen's, Police, and Highway capital budget requests. And if you recall, our last meeting, we did a preliminary look and preliminary discussion on these particular items. Okay, has anything changed since that, Dave?
Nothing has changed, Mr. Chairman.
So just a question, there's still a TBD amount in the selectmen's budget?
In
for-
17?
Right, for 2017 for a mail machine?
Yes.
So do we vote for it, or should we wait until we have an amount?
You have customarily voted with the TBD, and then we catch up later when we actually get a response from the vendor.
If you're comfortable, and I understand that, if you're comfortable with not to exceed type of thing, I don't know if that's appropriate even, but obviously we can always rescind our vote if we weren't happy with the numbers anyway.
Okay, well, do we
But I don't
know?
want to put that onto capital budget.
Yeah, they're due tomorrow to capital budget, so we'd like to move them along.
And did I understand it was, did we hear a guesstimate?
Yes, we did.
Figure? So should we just say not to exceed more or not, or just leave it at?
You can, but it's still a guesstimate, and if I'm wrong.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay, you're right, you're right.
Yeah.
So then we re-vote it and we get the number?
You can,
Yeah.
you certainly can.
Or at least discuss it and
Okay.
saying that we already
Mhm.
voted.
Just always forget this stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's fine. Good.
I know we're on a strict time, so.
I did
won't
have-
belabor the-
I wanted a placeholder and I forget, but I can always add to it when my brain gets back in line.
On this list?
Yes, a placeholder in one of the out years. So I don't want to interrupt our momentum this evening,
Mhm.
so I will not. That being said, David, do you want me to read them, or should we just,
I think you can move to approve them as submitted.
then I will make that motion that we move to approve the 2017 capital items. That'll be in Article 5, town meeting 2016, and I'll move that the out years of 18, 19, 20, and 21, and the information contained in the schedule, we also approve. And any questions are,
Oh, should we say the amount? 48,500?
okay, and so 2017 totals 48,500, 2018 with the big numbers being the Carroll Community Center, 1,773,000, 2019, 740,000, but that always includes the out year of the re-roofing of the townhouse. 2020 is 258,400. And finally, in 2021, and the out year is $40,000, and I imagine that's gonna change over the next few years, but you never know. And that being said, I made the motion, do I hear a second?
Second.
Mhm.
All in favor?
Aye.
Very good, thank you. David, can you remind me to think about what my placeholder was? I wrote it down, it's in my office. Thank you. Next agenda item is the clock working tonight, or is this?
It is.
Okay, good, thank you.
What about the police and highway and capital budgets? Do we
You know, I
vote
think I
those?
did the same, I made that same error last meeting. I didn't, we didn't vote to. You're right, you're right.
It's a good thing somebody's keeping an eye on you.
Yes, and I'll let you handle police then, Robin.
Oh, thank you, thank you. So we have in front of us the police budget, capital budget, for, as they've done in the past years, we replace one patrol vehicle in year one and two in year two. This is a one-year patrol vehicle. So for 2017, they are requesting $70,000. For 2018, $105,500. 2019, $48,500. 2020, $73,000. And for 2021, $186,000, which the big item there is taser upgrades.
Good.
So I move that we approve the 2017 budget as submitted for $70,000.
Not to be a stickler, but I think it's the total radio system is the big
Oh, it
ticket
is? Did I
item.
miss the place?
Right,
Oh, you're absolutely right, thank you.
exactly.
I thought that was kind of high for tasers.
Lots of
but-
tasers.
Right, I was like, you know,
Need more children.
we're expecting an influx of criminals in 2021. so-
Right.
Well,
Thank you, Candace.
with that correction, I'll second the motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, very good, thank you. Candace, this whole week I've been trying to be inclusive and have everything. You want to handle the highway capital budget?
Excellent. We are looking now at the highway and the capital requests for this year. We are looking for, am I right? I just want to be sure that I'm seeing this. I'm looking at the right thing.
So may I suggest rulers?
Oh,
With
I
the
see.
names on them?
Reading glasses and rulers.
Very nice, very nice, thank you. I'm back on the
I'm gonna
patrol
bring us all
vehicle.
rulers.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Excellent, I appreciate that. So what we're looking for 2017 is $23,975. For 2018, $285,000. That includes a 10-wheel dump truck as well as a 6-wheel dump truck, large amounts. 2019, $150,000. That's the roll-off truck replacement. Was last done in '97, so that will be due. 2020 is $100,000, and 2021, $55,000. So we are requesting then that we approve this amount for the capital budget for our highway department.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Excellent job, Candace.
Thank you.
Okay. On to the next agenda item is approving the 2016 holiday calendar. And while this is relatively generic, my question every year is it hasn't changed as far as the number of days.
It has.
It just moves along with the calendar.
That's
I
correct.
do appreciate your notes down below.
But we will add the Jim Dolly to it.
Thank you. I
Some point.
appreciate that. That's more of a national day than local. Just so you know, don't embarrass yourself like that. But Greer, Ramona, whoever put this together, thank you for putting on
Put a
the
little
religious notations on when we shouldn't have meetings also. But that being said, aside from the omission that Rob brought up, I move to approve the 2016 holiday calendar as presented this evening.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you for that. Next agenda item is to appoint the Assistant Town Accountant. And Greer, I believe you can speak to this matter?
I can. The assistant town accountant gave her resignation over the summer. She felt that the commute was too lengthy for her. So we went out to advertise, and we received a number of applications, of which several were interviewed. We felt that 2 of the interviewees were qualified. However, they both withdrew for their own reasons. And since then, the assistant town accountant, Nancy Regano, has reconsidered, and she would like to stay on. She likes the job. She feels that it's worth the commute. She's really settled in now, so she is asking for the board to reappoint her formally to that position since she gave us her resignation.
Thank you, Greer. I understand Nancy's concerns, and I'm glad that she decided to come to the town. I know you guys really appreciate how hard she works, and she's going to be a great employee. So thank you for that. I do not have any concerns or questions.
Neither do I.
Okay. Well, I will make the motion that we appoint the assistant town accountant as Nancy. How do you? In my notes, I want to get the spelling correct.
Regano,
Thank you.
Rigano.
Thank you. Regano.
Yes.
Nancy Regano as the assistant town accountant. Do I hear a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda is to execute the license agreement between the town of Dover and the Center for the Development of Children. Who can speak to this briefly?
Mr. Chairman, this is a renewal of the license agreement with the Center for the Development of Children under the identical terms as last year for the fiscal year 16.
That was brief, thank you. One of my things I always say every year when we renew the same tenant is retention of tenancy in large areas is key, because there's a cost to bring in a new tenant and the build out and so forth and loss of rents. So for all the hard work to keep our tenants in place and that adds value to the community, you know, certainly the Center for Development of Children is adding to the community. So I commend that, so thank you for that. And I do not have any other questions because I know this tenant very well. and they've been a good tenant, I believe, by everyone's standards. Robin, any questions?
No, I don't.
No,
Great.
delighted.
Then I will make the motion that we execute the license agreement between the town of Dover and the Center for the Development of Children for the use of town property, specifically the Carroll Community Center. And this is for the July 1st through June 30th, 2016 period. Thank you.
Excellent.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Why 3 copies? Why do we have 3 copies of this?
One is for us.
Yep, one is for them.
Town accountant.
Oh, one is for them, okay. Fair enough. Thank you, Robin. Good, on to the next agenda item. Appointments. This evening, I know of one. Candace, you have an appointment you made, please?
Absolutely, I'm delighted. Thank you very much, Mr. Dolly. When I was fortunate enough to join you all, I vacated a slot on open space as the liaison from Conservation Commission. And that role is currently being filled sort of temporarily by Amy Moot, who is the chair, and she is able to also speak about Conservation Commission business and represent that. But at the same time, we were so fortunate because we had a new person who stepped forward and was eager to join Open Space, and it is with great pleasure that Open Space welcomes Tara Nolan to be a regular full member of Open Space. Tara has been a resident of Dover for her whole life, and we're delighted to have her. She brings a great deal of expertise to open space. She's an energy consultant, and so she's able to speak to many of the issues that can pertain to land in town, and so it's a great pleasure for us to have Tara join us.
Is that a 3-year term
Yes,
or a 1-year?
I believe that's a 3-year term. Is it that?
I don't know. Concom, do they do 1 or 3 years?
I'm not sure.
It is, if it's the Conservation Commission liaison, it is 1 year.
Is it 1
that's
year?
right. I
Yes,
thought
yeah.
that.
Interesting, I thought it was 3, thank you. You're absolutely right.
Okay. With that being said, Robin, do you have any comments?
I do not.
Good. Yeah, excellent appointment. Thank you, Candace. With that being said, I'll nominate Tara Nolan as a open space, is it liaison or Concom full member?
Full member.
Thank you. Full member representing the Conservation Commission.
Well, actually not representing Concom, but full member, able to join open space. I believe that as Amy is sort of filling in my role, we are fortunate because Jane Brace
Yeah.
was the one who
Okay.
retired, so the full membership is being filled now by Tara Nolan. It's sort of musical chairs.
Yeah.
I apologize.
This is a difficult committee to fill.
Lots of clamoring to be on open space.
Okay, so we'll change the appointed by to selectmen then. Very good. I'll make the motion again to appoint Tara Nolan for a 1-year term to Open Space Committee.
Good.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Great, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I have a couple of,
Please.
my understanding is that Peter Smith is willing to re-up on the Board of Fire Engineers.
Okay. let me put-
So that's good
Where is
news.
he? Oh, there he is, thank you.
First page.
Peter, good. I worked with Peter on the warrant committee for a few years, and I think he does a great job for the town.
I
So
would
that's
agree.
great. A 3-year term, Dave?
Yes, sir.
Good, so 2018. Excellent. Thank you, Peter.
So
And
do we need to vote?
we will in a
Oh,
second.
all of, okay.
Please.
So you want to both of them together? And then the other is John Gilbert has indicated a willingness to re-up as a tree warden.
Tree warden.
And moss.
Wow, we have mocks now. Yeah.
Not while John's on the job.
Yeah, really, yeah. I don't remember seeing the moth part of this last year, no. It's just, okay. So that's a 3-year term also?
Yes,
Anything else, Dave?
that's it.
Good. Then I'll make the motion that we reappoint John Gilbert to another 3-year term as the tree warden and moth superintendent. And additionally, Peter Smith, reappointment for the next 3 years on the Board of Fire Engineers. Any questions? Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you.
So,
Robin, do you have anybody?
no, but I do have a question. It's kind of bizarre. He's the tree warden and the moth superintendent. You couldn't be the tree and moth warden, or the tree and moth
That's a good point.
superintendent.
Oh, it's different expertise, I guess.
I guess it's a mouthful. What a title.
Well, that's why I didn't know what.
Do you have 2 business cards?
Well, the moths ate the business card now.
He's also our measurer of bark and wood, and he actually did have to go out and measure a cord of wood at a resident's request last year. So
Interesting.
it's a separate
Does he,
position.
a separate position?
It is.
His title on his business card just wraps
Yeah.
around.
Double-sided.
That's fantastic. So no further appointments? Great, thank you. So we'll go into other business, which are special licenses. Again, thank you, Mona, for packaging them for us. I will read them, and then we will vote as one. The first one is retroactive to two nights ago, for a presentation at the Connor Center. On October 10th, we have a rehearsal dinner for a wedding at Elm Bank, and then the wedding itself on October 11th. On October 17th, at Springdale Field, which was the, not the revised date, but the makeup date.
The rain date.
Thank you,
Rain
rain
date.
date, thank you.
And I don't think it rained. Did it rain on the? It
was-
did, so it was a good call. Okay.
Yeah, so Riverland Conservation Trust will have their event at Springdale Farm on the 17th. Then on to October 28th, there's a reception at Elm Bank. And finally, on November 6th, at the Grace Church, there is a fundraiser. That being said, are there any questions about these special licenses? If none, then I'll make a motion to accept as read.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thanks.
No, I'm helping you out. You
I-
were
I-
running behind time,
I
so.
gave you a look. No, no, no. Yeah, really.
Very funny.
John, okay. Good, thank you.
Which is going to just become M line.
Next agenda item is to approve the September 10th, 2015 meeting minutes. This particular meeting, when the personnel board came in to recommend an increase for fiscal 17.
Mona, you do a very good job. And I get to sign them.
Excellent. I don't have any changes
I
in
don't,
comments.
I don't either.
That being said, I'll make the motion to accept the board minutes of September 10, 2015.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. One of my favorite agenda items, and I say this every meeting, citizens' comments. Now I have 2 citizens that I can look out to.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to make a comment about Jim Dolly.
Do you have plans?
I have big plans.
It's your favorite holiday, isn't it?
We should have a festival.
Right on the green.
Doug, I can't disagree with you. Thank you, Doug, for that.
A parade, definitely a parade. Right, right.
Does anyone else have any citizens' comments?
No. I mean, I think we have to end on a high note.
Please. One question on the fundraiser road race that was going to be held. Was that last weekend?
Which one? On North Shore?
Yes.
That was held on Sunday.
Yeah, thank you.
They had over 300 runners. They raised about $19,000.
Excellent. Glad to hear that. Thank you for that. I omitted that from our comments last meeting. I felt a little bad about it, but I'm glad it was well attended and it raised a lot of money. Thank you for that. With that being said, I'll make a motion for adjournment this evening. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you and good night.